Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jag, and in today's class we are going to continue with our grade 10 math content, and we're going to move on to the next unit. Alright, so the next unit is going to start off with multiplying polynomials. So let's get started. So I'm going to pick some really simple examples at the beginning, okay, just so everyone knows how to do this method. Okay, so let's try this one. So I have 2x plus 1, okay, inside the bracket here. And in the second bracket, it's going to be 3x plus 2, okay? And so basically, I'm just going to move it down here, okay, so everyone can see it. Okay, and again, the reason for this is actually so everyone can see the arrows, okay, and what we are multiplying. So this is actually known as the FOIL method. Okay, but most of the questions in the textbook will just tell you to use the distributive property to find each binomial product. Okay, each of these in brackets is a binomial. Okay, remember from grade 9, a binomial has two terms. All right, so what we're going to do is just expand and simplify here. First, I'm going to take this first term in the bracket, multiply it by the first term in the second bracket. So we're doing 2x times 3x. So 6x squared, okay? So remember when you are multiplying, I'm adding the exponents together. There are no exponents on the x here, okay? But the exponent is 1. So I'm just doing 1 plus 1 here, okay? So it's x to the power of 2, okay? I'm going to put the number 1 here. Okay, and the second time, I'm going to do the 2x and multiply it by the second term within the second brackets. So we're doing 2x times 2, which is equal to 4x. Again, make sure you are watching the signs, okay, that are in front of the number. So this is the second thing that we are multiplying. Is everyone good so far? Okay. So then we're going to take the second term in the bracket. So I'm going to put number 3. I'm doing 1 times 3x, which is 3x. Okay, and in the last term, I'm going to do 1 times 2. Which is equal to 2. So whenever I use the FOIL method, there has to be 4 terms, okay, that you end up with in this first step. And then you notice that the two middle terms are like terms. I can add them together here. Okay, so I'm just going to make a box so we could see that. Okay, so you see that they both are basically x, right? And they have the x variable here. We'll add it together. So 6x squared plus 7x plus 2. Okay? And this will be your final answer. Are there any questions? Okay, good. And whenever you're using the FOIL method, okay, make sure you're always just multiplying it in this order, okay, that we have right here. So I'm going to put number 4. And that way you won't mix up the two terms that you are multiplying. I always multiply each of the terms within this order, okay? And again, make sure you're just watching the sign that is in front of the number, okay? So with that, let's try another example. Okay, this time I'm going to put a number in front just to make it a little bit harder. Okay, so let's take this off. Okay, so let's try something simple here. Okay, so let's write it down here. So 3. So say it's 3x minus 5. Okay, and then x plus 6. Okay, whenever you're doing the questions, before you even start, make sure you're always taking a look at the example questions. And most of the examples are very similar to the questions they have in the textbook for practice. And that's always good to do before you start, okay? So you're not lost in the middle somewhere. Okay, so what we're going to do here, you see how there's a 3 outside the brackets? I'm going to actually leave the 3 outside, okay? Because I feel like it is easier. So I'm going to leave the 3 here. And again, open up the brackets, and I'm going to FOIL out what's inside the two brackets here. So we're doing x times x, okay, x squared. Then we're going to do x times 6. And again, I'm just putting numbers here, okay, so everyone can follow along. And after you do a lot of practice questions, you won't need to even draw the arrows, okay? You'll just be able to see it. So we're doing x times 6, so plus 6x. Go into the middle term here, negative 5 times x, negative 5x, okay? Don't put positive 5x here or you'll get the wrong answer, okay? And then the last term here, we're going to do negative 5 times 6, which is negative 30. Okay. Okay, does everyone see that so far? Okay. Now some students in this step will start doing the distributive property. Okay. But before you do that, I always like to make sure inside the brackets, I'm putting all the like terms together. Okay. I'm going to leave some space. Okay, so we can see this here. So it's going to be 3x squared. 6x minus 5x is 1x. So positive 1x minus 30. Okay. Again, it says to expand and simplify, so we are not done here. Okay. After you finish putting the like terms together within the brackets, I can see that I need to do the distributive property at the very end. Okay. So I'm going to open up the brackets here. Okay, so it's going to be 3 times x squared. So 3x squared. Okay. I'm going to do 3 times 1x, which is 3x. Okay, and then 3 times negative 30, which is negative 90. Okay, so just like this. Okay, so this is actually my final answer. I'm just going to put a line underneath it. Okay, so my final answer is going to be 3x squared plus 3x minus 90. Does everyone see how to do that? So I can see that I'm basically just doing like 2 steps here. Okay, and in the first step, I'm foiling out what is inside the brackets. Okay, and I end up with an expression. And remember, inside the brackets, you should always just simplify it because it makes it much easier. And in the second step, I'm doing the distributive property one more time to get basically my final answer. Okay, so again, the question might just say find each binomial product. Some of the questions might just say expand and simplify. Okay, and that's basically all you are doing for this question. Okay, so I hope everyone is good with that. And if you are, we are going to try one of these harder questions, okay? And we're going to move down. You notice as you're doing the questions in the textbook, they get a little more complicated with each question that you're going down to do, okay? But again, don't get scared, and you should always try the harder questions, okay? And the reason for that is if you're able to do the hardest questions in the textbook, there won't be any other questions the teacher can actually throw your way to try and trick you. Okay, and you should be good for any quiz or test. These are the types of questions the teacher will give you. Okay, so with that, let's try one of these hard questions. I'm going to take this off. Okay, so I'm going to just pick a question, okay, from here. So let's try this one. Okay, so let's do this. So we're going to do the 2x plus 5. And there's 3x minus 7. Okay, and I'm going to expand that with 2, and there's 4x plus 9. Okay, and 2x minus 11. Okay, so again, when I'm doing these questions, okay, and feel free to like use your calculator, okay, don't worry about that. But make sure you're doing as many steps as you need to do in order to get the correct answer, okay? Now, I always tell students not to skip any steps, especially at the beginning, when you're not really too sure how to do this method. But when you get really good at it, you can actually skip, okay, the steps as you wish. So let's get started here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we can actually expand the binomials, okay? And if you want, you can do that in one step as well, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do that. So first you're going to start with this, okay? And here we're just going to put brackets. Keep everything in brackets. So 2x times 3x, 6x squared, okay? And then I'm going to put the 2x times negative 7, negative 14x, okay? So I'm going to make the lines just to show you what we are multiplying here. We'll do 5 times 3, so plus 15x. And then 5 times negative 7, so negative 35. So as you can see, I am done with the first bracket here. So we're going to move on to the second chunk. Again, keep the 2 outside, okay? Let me draw the line. So we're going to do 4x times 2x, 8x squared. Okay, and you notice I'm multiplying each of these binomials again within the same order. Okay, and then we're going to do 4x times negative 11, so negative 44x. Okay, and then I'm going to do what's in the inside here. This is a 9. Okay, so 9 times 2x plus 18x. Okay, and this is the last term. I'm going to do 9 times 11, so negative 99. Okay, so sometimes some of these questions will give you like really big numbers. Again, don't get scared. Put all of these like terms together. Okay, before I do that, however, what I want to do is I want to basically put these like terms inside the brackets. I want to put that together first, okay? And the reason for that is if you look really closely, there are so many terms here, okay? And I want to make sure I'm getting the right answer, okay? So I'm going to put these like terms together. So let's do that. And keep everything in brackets. So 6x squared. This is negative 14 plus 15, okay? So positive 1x minus 35. Again, when you are putting like terms together and you're not sure about the signs, I would just use my calculator, okay? Because I have to still remember my integer rows when I'm putting the like terms together. I don't want to make any kind of mistakes for the signs, okay? In the middle of these steps. I know there are a lot of steps here, okay? So just put it into your calculator, okay? All teachers will let you use the calculator on your quizzes and tests, all right? With that, let's move over. Okay, so I'm going to keep this the same, okay? So we're going to do negative 44 plus 18. So 8x squared, okay, minus 26x minus 99. Okay? Does everyone see that? Okay? And in the next step here, what we're going to do is, again, I'm still going to leave the first bracket the same, okay? And the reason for that is basically I have to do the distributive property for the second bracket. I need to multiply everything by 2, okay? So plus, we're going to do 16x squared, okay? And again, make sure you are watching the sign, okay guys? So we're going to do 2 times 26x, negative 52x, like this, okay? And then it's going to be 2 times negative, okay, 99. So it's going to be negative 198. Okay, does everyone see that? So here, because we are adding the polynomials together, okay, I don't need to change any of the signs. I can just put all of my like terms together, okay? And again, if you are good at doing the like terms and stuff, you could just do that in one step, okay? You don't have to show your work that I'm putting the like terms together. Okay, as long as the teacher sees several of these steps, you can just write your final answer, okay? So we're going to put these together here. So 6x squared, okay, plus 16x squared, okay? Does everyone see that? I don't need to change the signs, okay? Again, we're adding the polynomials. If you were subtracting the polynomials, I'd have to change all the signs in the second bracket, okay? And the second one will be plus 1x minus 52x, okay? Make sure you are taking the sign in front of the numbers here, all right? And the last terms is negative 2035 minus 198. Okay, so again, we are not done here. We put our like terms together, and we're just gonna add and subtract all of these numbers together. Okay, so 22x squared, because this is just 6 plus 16, all right? And I'm doing 1 minus 52, so negative 51x, okay? And this is actually 35 and 198. Because they both are negative, remember, you're just adding them together. And I'm taking the sign of the bigger number, okay? 198 is bigger here, and the sign on it is negative, okay? So negative 233, okay? And I'm going to put a line here. Okay, again, you can, as you're doing the questions in your notebook or whatnot, you can always box your final answer, okay, so the teacher can see it. And that's usually what I do. Okay, I just don't want to box it here as there's not that much space. Okay, it's always good to do that. The teacher can see your final answer. And again, the teacher always, for any quizzes or tests, they have like an answer sheet. And they're just checking the answer sheet to make sure you have that final answer. Okay? So one more time, when you're doing one of these more complicated questions, when you're expanding and simplifying, okay, make sure you're doing the binomial product separately here. I can do it in one step like we did on the board, okay? But make sure you're putting all of the like terms together within the brackets first, all right? And that's just to make sure it is simplified. I don't have too many terms to deal with at the very end, okay? Because you can see it can get a little messy or a little complicated. Make sure you're watching the signs, all right? And at the end, in the very last step, all you're doing is putting all the like terms together, okay? And then you can just add and subtract them at the very end. Make sure you're putting a line to show your final answer, and so the teacher can just follow along, all right? So if there are no questions, that brings this video to an end. Again, we covered Math 10, multiplying polynomials. This is a very important concept. It's actually going to lead into the unit on quadratics, okay? So thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the content, please make sure you're clicking on the like button below and subscribe to the channel. And I will see everyone next time. Thanks. Bye.